Po, what is creativity?
Well, I'm doing science writing now. So let's talk about the scholar's accepted definition of creativity, which is the production of something that is both original or new and useful to the given social context. So what they're not looking for is just crazy, wild ideas that have no applicability, utility, adaptive quality. There's a combination of what they call divergent thinking and convergent thinking. Divergent thinking is idea generativity, being fluent in coming up with lots and lots of ideas, and convergent thinking, which is working and combining those ideas to the best possible result. And to some extent, the modern science of creativity differs from its precursor when creativity was sort of popularized in a New Age way in the 70s, which focused primarily upon divergent thinking or associative thinking alone. The theories that led to creativity as being a right-sided brain activity. Not only is that not quite correct, but again, that was because of an emphasis solely on divergence and not convergence.
Why is creativity now such a big issue? Your book, Daniel Pink's book about left brain thinking. What is it about creativity that's obsessing us now in 2010?
Well, I think Dan persuasively makes the case, and I don't think anybody really disagrees with the broad construct of the argument that it's creative people who truly add value to the economy. And Dan does that under the specter of, if you don't want to have your job outsourced, you'd better be a creative person. And some people take that too far and say you better get a MFA in creative writing, when plenty of MFAs in creative writing would tell you they can't find a job. So it gets a little tricky, but the general idea is that cognition, intellectual processing alone is not going to lead you to success in your personal life, not going to lead our economy out of the doldrums on its own, and alone is not predictive of people's future lifetime achievements. So even as it comes down into the school setting, which is where we focus our article a lot, there's a recognition that intelligence is not where it's all at, and there's something else going on.
I think it's fair, some people say, to describe the current economy as a creative economy as opposed to a knowledge economy or a post-industrial economy?
To some extent, I think people are all arguing the terminology, but they're all making the same point, that creative production is both inherently pleasing, intrinsically interesting, intrinsically rewarding, and because it's motivating and people have more dopamine on the brain when they're doing their jobs, if they're getting to do creative work, they're livelier, they produce more, they're more successful overall, as well as the driving force of ingenuity, plain old American human ingenuity, or take the American in there or not, relies heavily on this idea that there's something to creativity, and where creativity as a construct, and one of the things that's going on here is an attempt to pull it back from that 70s New Age type of idea and take it away, say, from its arts bias, and say that inventiveness, ingenuity, innovation,
right. We both come to the I word.
Right, are creativity. And it's just saying creativity is what we're talking about here, where this comes from. And that not just that it's structural, that society-wide or industry-wide you have to do things to facilitate new ideas emerging, but that literally in the human capital itself, individual people's strengths and weaknesses in creativity can predict their future outcomes as well, and that we can do something about individual people's sort of creative knack, if you will.
Has innovation always existed? 10-second answer. Or 15, I'll say.
No.
No?
No, not necessarily. I mean, long periods of our human history went with very slow level of innovation, very slow level of ingenuity. The brain probably has always worked that way, but there's an interaction going on. So I doubt that the neurology has changed over time.
That's your 10 seconds.
10 seconds, yeah.